Today, I will go over one of my most catastrophic aim training mistakes I have made in the past 5 years. With 4,700 hours of Kovaaks, you would not expect the aim to look as it does. Absolutely disgusting. And there are multiple examples of me missing what seems like the easiest shots. And yet at times, like in this clip, I guess I can just hit every single shot. And so does this mean controller aim training is just a complete waste of time? No. And by the end of this video, I am going to go over how this was avoidable from day one, how I'm going to fix this, and how you can get a jump start to training this so you do not continuously make the same mistakes. 5 years of my life obsessing over all of this. I'm giving it out for free, all the information, so like the video. Now what this comes down to is 2 big mistakes, and I bet I can just go anywhere random inside of this bot. These are just bots, and you will still see at times where the aim is just completely shaky, but at other times it's just perfectly on. Now everyone knows in FPS games, as a player, I can move forward, left, right, or back, and of course diagonals. And this may seem simple, but in every moment I am going to be moving. Not only will I be moving, but so will be the enemy in any of these directions, and I want to shoot at the enemy. If I move this way and the enemy moves this way, we're both shooting at each other. My aim is gonna stay perfectly onto the enemy, and theirs will as well. But if I move this way and they move this way, this is going to be anti-mirroring, and the other example is going to be mirroring. The reason why this is such an important part for controller aiming is because the absurdity that controller can have with tracking. If I hold the analog stick at one point, it is going to stay at that point. And so the fact that I can miss in moments like this, now of course they're moving around pretty crazy, you can't be perfect all the time. Point still stands that you are going to see those possible perfect tracking moments at any time in the game. And if it is not perfect tracking, I'm just doing it incorrectly. And so all of this comes down to about 2 big mechanical issues that, if practiced, will make your aim so much cleaner. We have movement and we have aim. But before we get into that, dude, I have dedicated my life to controller improvement. So drop a like, leave a comment if any of this helps out, and let's get into how you can start practicing these 2. We have a movement routine and an aim routine. And I am telling you, these small things, they do not seem like big issues that you need to care about, but practicing these things will make you better. Getting in reps of the small parts is going to shorten the reaction time it takes, or just the mental load it takes for you to then go and do it in an actual match. So in a bot lobby, we are going to practice mirroring and anti-mirroring. Because COD is just super bad setting up any way to practice, there is a bit secret method that I do not see talked about very much. I am setting this on team deathmatch for a very specific reason. I am going to add bots on my own team, and the reason for this is because I want to practice my mirroring. Now you can do this with enemy bots if you want to combine everything and just practice mirroring and shooting, but as far as like breaking things down into like really small parts, now that they're on my team, they're not going to shoot at me. I will literally just aim at them using mostly my left stick. Now this is something that we're going to be able to do much more effectively in Kovaaks, but if you're someone that also likes to get in reps just through a private match or whatever game it is you play, just because it feels, I mean, literally identical, private match to pub matches, do not think that this is the worst method. And again, this stuff is all very simplistic, so it's going to feel really boring, easy to do. So it's important that you challenge yourself. Things like aiming at head level, anything to cause breaks in your ability to keep onto the target, especially because they're your teammates. You're not shooting, there's no accuracy. You really want to focus on the left stick. And you can do the same, we're just mirroring here. We can do the same for anti-mirroring. Instead on free-for-all, this is going to be a common method. And again, you want to focus mostly just on left stick aiming. Try to use the right stick as little as possible. The more you can really put emphasis on that left stick, not allowing yourself to actually try to aim, the more benefits it's going to have. And COD's weird because the time to kill is so short. You're not going to have very much time against real players to do mirroring or anti-mirroring. That's why I think it's so important to practice these things, because it's just going to happen so fast in game. Also put them on 300 health, so I have to shoot a bit more. We're mirrored for a little bit, we can anti-mirror. They move one direction, we move the opposite. I see anti-mirroring come up a lot more in in actual matches. I think it's people's like natural response to a fight. Let's say you want to be a bit more efficient. We're going to go into Kovaaks, and we can train mirroring and anti-mirroring really well. I made this playlist, mirror plus anti-mirror, a good amount of scenarios. Try to make a good mix of everything, not just mirroring and anti-mirroring, but also close range, far range of both. And again, during this, especially this playlist, you want to focus as much as possible. Forget about scores, focus on using your left stick. Went through all of the available mirroring and anti-mirroring scenarios. So I want to have you really moving the left stick. One of the more valuable ones I actually think is this. Pretty difficult, but again, focus not on scores, just using that left stick. And then moving on to the anti-mirroring stuff, I find that correction accuracy, this scenario is super good. So it'll move you on its own, right? No left stick input, but just getting those reps in of you're moving one direction, but having to aim another direction. And a few different, this one's a different speed. Same distance. You can even see with my aim, man, like how little I've practiced this. Even though, again, on a controller, you should technically be able to get 100% on this, 100% accuracy. Some far away targets. Yeah, having steady thumbs is just so important. I mean, tracking can look so crazy on controller. It's just something I have not put much time into. As you've seen in that crazy beginning clip, bro, it can look insane. Also, this mirror to anti-mirror training, if I had to only choose one scenario, this one's actually super nice. Just mirror the first one, and then anti-mirror the next one. And part of why of training these movements, mirroring and anti-mirroring in Kovaaks is so good is not only because it's more efficient, but you can also do things like a sensitivity randomizer. And anytime these scenarios get too easy, you can just find replacements that are more difficult. Versus in COD, it is just completely, there's just really no good way to practice it. Now for the aim routine part, COD comes in a bit more handy. Something I like to do in between games is going to the firing range and anti-mirror. This is surprisingly difficult, maybe because I'm on max ADS, but legit just in between matches, just go back and forth. Usually I will shoot, but every now and then I just try to keep my crosshair steady. You'd be surprised, bro. It's pretty difficult. That'll only be beneficial for a short period of time. But I think you can also, for the aim routine, a good opportunity to shoot bots, put it all together, the mirror and the anti-mirror. The big difference from the movement part of the video is it really comes down to what you're focusing on. And so here I do want to mirror, but I also want to put emphasis on if I'm actually just hitting the target or not. Whereas before, even if I'm off target a lot, I'm only focusing on left stick aiming. Could probably get away with just doing this part for movement, combining it all together. But if you're finding issue or not improving with it, I think breaking it apart and training them separately can be really good. So still just trying to mirror the movement, most of the aiming with the left stick, or anti-mirroring. I go one direction, I go another. Issue 2 is these bots just don't move. It would be super sick if COD had some type of mode where the bots just move like people and had no guns. So you can actually train aim pretty effectively. Now, before we get into the good part of the video, secret call out. If you are watching up until this point, you really care about improving your controller aim or just aim in general, shout out to you. Go down to the comments and comment "we know" for the secret call out. It is insane to me the people that think Kovaaks or aim trainers are a waste of time. And hey, maybe they play something like Fortnite to where Fortnite has legit just whatever map you can think of. But for a game like COD, you do not have those things. Top of the mirror plus anti-mirror playlist that I had, also made a playlist called Quick Tensionless Accuracy. Now again, with aim training, the goal is to train your aim. Some of these on controller are going to be a lot easier. Again, because you can just hold the analog stick in one direction and it stays aiming in that direction. Some of these, if you're on controller, are going to be very easy to get high scores on, but you do not want that. Point of scenarios like this, what we want is to train our thumb to get comfortable holding in one constant speed at a direction. You can see, even with my aim, it's not completely perfect, even with all of the hours I've put in. And again, cool thing about Kovaaks is you can just make it harder, whether that be upping your sensitivity or using a sensitivity randomizer or just choosing a more difficult scenario. I'm gonna try to have as little tension as possible, keeping it at an exact point. These two scenarios, really easy on controller. If you train them properly and then you take it into game, it's going to help you a ton. I also included scenarios like this one, where you have to track a bot moving in the same pattern, same spot. I'm gonna do the same. This one's a bit more difficult, played a bit less, but again, very easy to cheese these. You want to eliminate that like jerky motion. Maybe just because of COD, this is also something you don't really see a lot of, just making straight lines up and down. Even if it's small straight lines, like if you're aiming too low and you gotta go up for a headshot, it's pretty good at practice. Or if a target is falling, but that's a bit more rare. Now, it starts to all come together in a scenario like this, to where it is going to be mostly just straight lines. You can see how it changes directions, goes up and down. And most people aren't going to be on as high, not as crazy sensitivity as I play in COD. So really I can up my sense in Kovaaks and get a lot of benefit from something like this. Because if I freak out in COD, my aim freaks out, even just my mind freaks out, it is going to throw everything off. You want to get to the point to where, because it is possible on controller, actual pixel perfect tracking, you don't want to just track this bot, but make it match speed perfectly as you can. Shaky with this. It's just not really something I practice in throughout all these years. Again, more long, just smooth tracking type scenarios. The small little movements off of the bot should not be a thing. If it's moving in one direction, I should be able to, just from seeing it, know how much to push my thumb to keep it perfectly on the bot. If it's slowly getting off the target, then you are just pushing it not at the right position. And this combines all of the previous ones, keeping it at a certain speed. I believe this is also regen, so it forces you to not get off a target. But not all of the targets that you're going to be shooting at is just going to be moving in simplistic lines, which I also think it is important to track things that are going to be moving a good amount. With something like this, it is very, very beneficial to still make straight controlled lines, but reacting to the changes. The more you can get very clean lines, speed match to the target, and transfer over into game really well. Most of these are slowed down, something like this, where it's slowed. You don't just want to track this. It's not about being accurate. These are slowed because I'm going to give people the time to try to match the speed. Changing directions a good amount. If you're a beginner, this is probably going to be a bit difficult. Forget about accuracy. It's just when it makes a change in direction, you want to get to training your brain and your thumb to push at that speed. And then all of these. But this last scenario is where I think it can all come together. This is normal speed, but it will move in pretty much one direction and then change. You can even see it with my aim and also the clips that I showed in the beginning. When a target is changing direction, it can throw my aim right into the garbage. With this, I'm not even moving in-game, right? There's no left stick movement, and this is still difficult, right? Especially these direction changes, because I am pushing the analog stick to the left, and then to get right movement, I have to start pushing it to the right. It's good to get reps in that. And when you combine all of those things, it can start to look pretty clean, even though these are just bots. On Overwatch, I got to plat 5 without knowing the game whatsoever. And so all of the things I talk about, all of these small parts all come together to give you the ability, to give controllers the ability to not need aim assist. All of this information is pretty simple, but putting it into practice is the big part. All of this info out there for free. I love this stuff. But if you do not want to think about any of this, but still have the improvement, I've opened up coaching spots. Hit me up on Twitter. We're gonna get you shooting straight.